Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary penny, and discovering that it could be worth more than $13 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1982 Lincoln penny, something you might have overlooked for decades, could be the ticket to a life of financial freedom, luxury, and peace of mind. But here's the terrifying part. Most people throw these coins away, spend them without thinking, or leave them gathering dust in a jar. And when they do, they throw away the chance at generational wealth. Let me ask you, what would you do if you realized you've been sitting on $1 million fortune all these years without knowing it? Would you cash it in? Or would you wait, hoping its value climbs even higher? And no, this is not the moment to grab your piggy bank and start smashing it with a hammer. Though honestly, if you did, I wouldn't blame you. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll not only learn the hidden history of the 1982 Lincoln penny, but also how to identify the versions that could transform your life overnight. And I'll warn you, if you skip a second of this, you might miss the exact detail that separates a common coin worth 1 cent from a rare treasure worth millions. Rising tension and revelation, the journey. Let's go back to 1982, a year of change for U.S. currency. Up until that point, pennies were primarily made of copper. But inflation was rising, and copper had become more expensive than the face value of the coin itself. So the U.S. Mint made a critical decision to switch from copper to a cheaper metal, zinc. This transition didn't happen overnight. For a while, both copper and zinc pennies were minted in 1982. And here's where the story gets fascinating and a little scary. Because not all 1982 pennies are created equal. Some are worth 1 cent. Some are worth a few $100s. But a few, extremely rare varieties, have sold for over $13 million in private auctions. Now, you might be asking, how do I know which 1982 penny I have? And that's the golden question, because in just a moment, I'm going to reveal the single most important feature that separates the pennies that will change your life from the ones you should just drop in a tip jar. But first, let's address the fear that many of you might be feeling right now. What if you already spent one of these rare pennies years ago? What if it slipped through your hands and you'll never see it again? The truth is, it's possible. And yes, that thought stings. But here's the exciting part. Millions of 1982 pennies are still in circulation, tucked away in jars, drawers, and forgotten collections across America. That means your chance isn't gone. In fact, it may be closer than you realize. So, before you start raiding your grandma's couch cushions or turning over every vending machine coin return, let me guide you through the real details. Weight difference. Copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. A simple digital scale could be your best investment yet. Date and mint mark variations. Some 1982 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. A few of these mint mark combinations, paired with copper, are the million-dollar gems. Errors and double dies. Imagine spotting an extra number in the date or a doubled image of Lincoln's profile. These mistakes can skyrocket value instantly. But there's one variation, one specific detail that has led collectors to pay over $13 million for a single coin. I'll reveal exactly what that is in just a moment. Payoff and call to action, the resolution. So, what makes the holy grail of 1982 Lincoln pennies? It's the 1982D small date copper penny. Struck in Denver, weighing 3.11 grams with a small date style. Only a handful are known to exist, and when one surfaces, collectors go wild. And here's the urgency. Every year that passes, fewer of these coins are found. Some are lost. Some are damaged. Others disappear into private collections, never to be seen again. That means the window of opportunity is shrinking. Now picture this. Selling one coin for $13 million. What would you do first? Pay off your home? Retire early? Travel the world? Build generational wealth for your children and grandchildren? The choice could be yours. And hey, maybe you'll finally stop arguing with your neighbor about who has the nicest lawn, because you'll own the entire neighborhood. But let me ground this in reality. Not every penny you find will be worth millions. Some might be worth $100, $500, maybe $1,000. Still, ask yourself, would you rather toss that coin into a coin machine or cash it in for a down payment on your dream home? The 1982 Lincoln penny is more than just pocket change. It's a reminder that hidden opportunities surround us every day. The real question is, will you pay attention or will you let them slip by? So here's your action step. Start checking every penny for 1982. Invest in a simple digital scale. Learn to spot the small date versus large date design. And most importantly, don't assume any coin is worthless, because one coin, one discovery, could be the key to unlocking the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And just when you think the 1982 penny is the end of the story, wait until you hear about the other Lincoln pennies, Jefferson nickels, and Washington quarters that are quietly worth millions. That's coming up in the next video. Remember, wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes, it comes in the form of a coin no bigger than your thumbnail. Your fortune could already be in your pocket. The only question is, will you find it before someone else does? We're diving into one of the most shocking stories in American coinage history, the 1970 Lincoln penny. This isn't just a coin. This is potentially a life-changing ticket to financial freedom. But here's the catch. Most people walk right past this tiny piece of copper every single day, not realizing what they're giving up. And worse, they might already own one, sitting at the bottom of a dresser drawer or hidden in an old piggy bank. So, ask yourself right now, what if you've been overlooking a $16 million opportunity? Wouldn't you want to know before it slips through your fingers? Stick with me to the end, because we're going to uncover not just why the 1970 penny is rare and insanely valuable, but also the specific details you need to know in order to spot one, how collectors and auction houses handle these coins, and most importantly, what you must avoid if you actually want to sell it for top dollar. And along the way, I'll share a few jaw-dropping stories of people who thought their pennies were worthless until they discovered the truth. Quick warning, after this video, you may never look at pocket change the same way again. And that's exactly the point. The journey and discovery, minutes 5 to 15. Let's rewind the clock back to 1970. America was in the middle of massive change. The Vietnam War was raging, the Beatles had just broken up, and gas cost 36 cents a gallon. Amidst all of this, the U.S. Mint was striking billions of Lincoln pennies. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In the chaos of mass production, a few mistakes slipped through. Some coins came out with double dies, others with minting errors so subtle you'd miss them unless you had a magnifying glass and a patient eye. These rare misprints are what turn an ordinary penny into a million-dollar masterpiece. But why so much money? Simple. Collectors go absolutely wild for rarity. Think about it. If there are billions of ordinary 1970 pennies, but only a handful of error coins, you've just created scarcity. And scarcity, my friends, is the rocket fuel of value. Here's the part that shocks most people. A flawless 1970 penny with these errors has been auctioned for nearly $16 million. Yes, $16 million. That's not a typo. Imagine selling a penny and walking away wealthier than most doctors or lawyers earn in a lifetime. But let me stop here and ask you something funny. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it aside? Probably never, right? We complain about pennies being useless, yet one could be the single most valuable asset in your entire house. And if you think this is all hype, consider this. One man in California almost threw away a 1970s Lincoln penny until his grandson pulled it out and listed it at an auction. It ended up selling for life-changing money. Imagine being the guy who almost lost millions to the trash can. Talk about painful. Here's the scary part though. Many people make the mistake of cleaning their coins or trying to sell them to the wrong dealer. Do that, and you could watch your $1,000,000 penny drop to just a few $100 in value. So, how do you protect yourself? How do you make sure your coin is the real deal, and that you actually get the kind of payday that could change your family's future forever? That's exactly what we'll uncover in a moment. But first, let's talk about how to actually identify one of these treasures hiding in plain sight. Resolution and call to action. Minutes 15 to 20. Deliver payoff. Provide urgent motivation. Inspirational close with cliffhanger to next video. Alright, here's what separates the millionaires from the unlucky. When you're looking at a 1970 Lincoln penny, the key detail to watch for is the double diobverse. That means the letters, numbers, and even Lincoln's face can look slightly doubled under magnification. The most famous version is the 1970s, struck in San Francisco, and if you find one in pristine condition, you're holding a potential $16 million jackpot. But here's the truth, most people will never check. They'll spend their coins, let them sit in jars, or worse, give them to the bank. That's why only a few lucky collectors have cashed in. So, what should you do if you think you found one? Step 1. Never clean the coin. Step 2. Get it graded by a professional coin certification service. Step 3. Be patient and find the right auction house, because selling too quickly could cost you millions. Now, let's step back for a second. This isn't just about a penny. It's about opportunity. It's about being awake to the hidden value that others ignore. And maybe, just maybe, it's about rewriting your financial future with something as small as a 1-cent piece of copper. Think about it. While others complain about the economy, the cost of living, and how impossible it is to get ahead, you could be the person who turns a forgotten coin into generational wealth. Here's my challenge to you. Tonight, after this video, go grab that jar of change. Dump it out. Look closely at every penny from 1970. Because if you're lucky enough to spot the right one, your entire life could change. And before you go, let me leave you with a thought. If a tiny penny can hide $16 million in value, what else in your life might be hiding untapped potential? Don't miss my next video, because I'm going to reveal another coin, even rarer than the 1970 penny, that has stunned experts worldwide. You'll want to see this before it disappears into another collector's vault forever. Imagine this. You're holding what looks like an ordinary 1995 Lincoln penny in your hand, a coin most people would spend without a second thought. But what if I told you that very same penny could actually be worth up to $11 million in today's market? That's right, a single cent transforming into a life-changing fortune. And here's the real kicker. Thousands of these coins are still circulating quietly in America's pockets, drawers, and old jars of change. The only question is, do you have one hiding in plain sight? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to find out, and what it could mean for your financial future. The discovery, building intrigue. Let's start with the story. The year is 1995. The United States Mint is producing hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies, just like they always do. But something unusual happens. A small batch of these pennies contains what numismatists call errors, unique flaws that make them incredibly rare and valuable. Now, you might be asking yourself, how could a tiny mistake on a penny make it worth more than most houses in America? Here's the secret. Collectors don't just buy coins for their face value. They buy stories, rarity, and history. And the 1995 Lincoln pennies check all three boxes. Some of these coins were minted with doubling on the obverse side. That's the front of the coin where Lincoln's portrait sits. If you look closely, the word liberty and the phrase "in God we trust" can appear doubled, almost like they're printed in shadow. It might sound small, but to coin experts, that doubling is like a golden ticket. Here's a question for you. If you found a coin with that doubling, would you keep it in your drawer for luck, or would you cash it in for a millionaire lifestyle? I know what I'd do. The journey, tension, and revelation. Here's where things get exciting. The coin world is booming right now, and collectors are paying record-breaking prices for rare pennies. The 1995 double-die penny, once thought of as just an oddity, has reached current market values of up to $11 million for pristine, uncirculated examples. Think about that. $11 million. That's not just financial comfort, that's generational wealth. That's wiping away debts, buying your dream home, maybe even retiring earlier than you ever thought possible. But here's where the fear comes in, and I say this with urgency. If you don't know what you're looking for, you could easily let a fortune slip right through your fingers. People every day are spending rare coins without realizing it. Gas stations, vending machines, even grocery store checkout lines. Fortunes are passing from hand to hand, unnoticed. Let's break it down further. Most 1995 pennies are worth just 1 cent. But the rare double-die variety, especially those graded in near-perfect condition, are what command the astronomical prices. And if you've got one in circulation, where it can still be worth hundreds or thousands. Now here's a quick pattern interrupt. Can you imagine trying to pay for your morning coffee with an $11 million penny? Talk about the world's most expensive latte. So, how do you know if you're holding one of these treasures? Here's the cliffhanger. In just a moment, I'll walk you through exactly how to check your own 1995 pennies, step by step. The reward, inspiration, and action. Alright, let's get practical. If you've got a stash of coins lying around, here's what you need to do. First, pull out every 1995 penny you can find. Next, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Focus on the inscriptions on the front of the coin, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see doubling, you may just be holding one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. But don't stop there. Condition matters. A coin in mint state can be worth exponentially more than one that's been in circulation. If you think you've struck gold, your next step is to get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's talk about what this really means for you. Because this isn't just about finding a coin. It's about finding opportunity in the unexpected. It's about the thrill of discovery, the power of knowledge, and the chance to change your financial destiny with something as small as a penny. And here's the inspiration I want to leave you with. Wealth doesn't always come from where we expect it. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, waiting for the curious, the persistent, and the informed to uncover it. So here's your call to action. Don't let another day pass without checking your coins. Don't let fortune slip between your fingers. Go through that change jar, that old coffee can, that forgotten drawer. Because one penny could be the key to unlocking the life you've always dreamed of. And the market is hot right now. Now, before you dismiss this as just another coin collector's fantasy, let me ask you something. What if the path to financial freedom, luxury, and security for your family has been hiding in your change jar all along? And no, I'm not talking about a genie in a lamp or winning the lottery. I'm talking about the humble 2018 Lincoln penny, a coin that millions of people handle every single day without realizing its potential. Some rare variations have shocked collectors, selling for unbelievable sums. But here's the kicker. Not knowing what you're holding could cost you everything. What if you already spent one of these life-changing pennies without even knowing it? The story, history, and hidden value. Let's step back for a moment. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation for over a century, since 1909, and the 2018 version continues that legacy. On the surface, it looks ordinary. Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front, the Union shield on the back. Nothing seems unusual, but here's the secret. Not all pennies are created equal. Tiny differences, minting errors, misstrikes, double dies, off-center impressions, rare metals, can turn a coin from pocket change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. It's almost like the coin version of those talent shows. Most contestants look normal at first, until suddenly someone opens their mouth, and you realize they're the next superstar. The penny version of that superstar is the rare 2018 Lincoln cent that collectors fight to own. But what makes the 2018 penny so special? Why are some worth just 1 cent, while others command a jaw-dropping $5.2 million in the market? Stay with me, because the difference lies in details so small you could overlook them in the blink of an eye. The hidden markers of wealth. Some 2018 Lincoln pennies were minted with errors so rare that they slipped past the U.S. Mint unnoticed. Examples include double-die errors where the lettering or date looks doubled, misaligned strikes, or unusual luster from different metal compositions. Collectors and investors prize these anomalies because they're one-of-a-kind fingerprints of history. Rarity drives demand, and demand drives prices through the roof. Think of it this way: most people spend their lives chasing wealth, working long hours, and sacrificing time with their families. Yet a tiny overlooked penny could do the work of an entire lifetime. Isn't it ironic that people dream of big houses and luxury cars, while the key to those dreams might already be sitting unnoticed in their coin jar? And here's the urgent part: these coins are out there in circulation right now. People are unknowingly handing them over at grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines. The question is, will you recognize one before it's too late? The call to action and future VISIN now. Picture this. You find one of these pennies. You take it to an appraiser, and it turns out to be authentic. Overnight, you're holding an asset worth millions. Suddenly, your dreams are not just dreams anymore. They're reality. You could clear your debts, send your kids to the best schools, buy that dream home overlooking the ocean, or simply live with the freedom to never clock in for another job again. And yes, you could finally stop arguing with the self-checkout machine when it tells you to place your item in the bagging area. That machine won't matter when you're a millionaire because of a penny. But here's where many people fail. They assume it's impossible. They don't take the time to learn what to look for. That's why opportunities slip through their fingers every single day. So here's my challenge to you. After watching this video, check your coin jars, wallets, and even the change tray in your car. Research what rare 2018 Lincoln pennies look like. Because every moment you delay increases the chances that someone else, maybe even someone across the street, will find their fortune before you do. In the coming years, as more collectors enter the market, values are expected to climb even higher. What sells for $5.2 million today could be worth double tomorrow. The clock is ticking, and fortune favors the prepared. So, are you ready to discover the penny that could redefine your future? Because the next coin you hold in your hand might just be the one that changes everything. Remember, wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, in the smallest, simplest objects. And right now, your financial breakthrough might be no further than your pocket.